Hello everyone, let's take a look at measuring the spread part 2, a continuation of our previous lesson. Now, what we want to do is we want to also go ahead and take a look at the relationship between the measures of central tendency and the measures of spread. Now notice in the measures of central tendency we have the mean, the median, and the mode. And for the measures of spread we have the variance and standard deviation, the 5-number summary and percentiles, and the range. Now, if we want to get an accurate description of the data that we're dealing with, we have to use both the measures of central tendency as well as the measures of spread. What we need to realize as well is that there's an association between them. So for example, if we were to go ahead and use the mean as our primary measure of central tendency, then the primary means by which we measure the spread would be through variance and standard deviation. Now we'll get to that a little bit later. In addition to that, if we go ahead and use the median as our primary means to describe the central tendency of the data, then what we would use as a measure of spread would be the 5-number summary or percentiles. Okay, now, which do you use generally? Like say for example, if we know that this is paired up with each other, these two are paired up and these two are paired up, then how do we know which one do we use? Because we still haven't decided which one to use to begin with when it comes to the measure of central tendency. And the general idea is that if your histogram is symmetrical, or in other words, if the spread of your data is symmetrical, then generally you're going to use the mean and the variance as the combination to accurately describe the data that you have. Now, if the histogram or the data that you have is not symmetrical, then what you would use is the median and the 5-number summary. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at what we want to do here, and let's just focus on this combination here. We'll get to this combination a little later. Let's focus on this combination and see how we do that. Now, hopefully everybody remembers from the previous lesson that these are the values that we came up for our 5-number summary. We had a minimum of 0, Q sub 1 of 1.3, a median of Q sub 2, a median Q sub 2 of 2, the Q sub 3 of 2.6, and the max of 4. Now we also said that the interquartile range was going to be 1.3 and the range was going to be 4. So how do you go ahead and visually represent the 5-number summary? And the graphical form of that, of course, is the box and whisker plot. So notice that what we have here is we have all the values from 0 to 4, because that is the maximum range from 0 to 4. And so I'm going to go ahead and put little dashes above 0 and 4. And now I need to also go ahead and include dashes at 1.3, 2, and 2.6. So there's 1.3, there's 2, and there's 2.6. Now of course, remember from the IGCSE course that the box and whisker plot is more or less just going to look like this. Okay. There's the box, those are the whiskers. Okay, and what we know just by taking a look at this is we know that this is the halfway, so 50% of the information is here, 50% of the information is there. We also know that 25% of the information is there, there, and there. And we know that the interquartile range, which is the middle 50%, is between those two values. So that's how we can go ahead and use the 5-number summary to go ahead and show the spread based upon the median value, which in this case was 2. Okay, so that's all we're going to be taking a look at for this particular section. And in the next section, we'll go ahead and take a look at how to calculate the variance and the standard deviation if we know that we have symmetry with our data and we want to use the mean as our primary measure of central tendency. So let's go ahead and take a look at this information, this section, and let's see how you do. See you again next time. See ya.